Hey everyone, this is going to be a response to a video by Struggling Kid Artist, or Kim, entitled 5 Minutes with Kim, Why I'm Not a Feminist. Now, it occurred to me that while I was writing notes and things for this video, that part of this video, namely the end, could be applied to the atheism debate that's been going on lately between Cardinal Virtues and Beelzebub and others. Which is why I've named why the title of this video is so named. Don't let the extremes push you away. Okay, Kim, I'm actually going to address this video to you because unlike the last video I made to Lee Doran, I actually think you'll watch it and you can actually get something from it. You know, you'll take away the points that I've given you, and objectively look at your own positions and see if they need to be modified. So, Kim, the first thing you talk about is the patriarchy and how this doesn't automatically end an argument, and how our society is in a constant change and a constant state of growth and change, especially during the 20th century, where men and women were able to cross over and do jobs normally associated with the other sex. And you put up the photographic example of a female firefighter. While this is correct, I still think that you're taking a rather narrow view of society. Yes, improvements have been made, no question about it, but there is still a lot to be done. In America, for example, women still only earn, on average, 77 cents for every dollar that a man makes. In fact, in the 265 major job categories measured in a study that I'll leave in the below bar, there was only one where women collect a higher salary than men, and that was with personal care and service workers. It's even worse in some states like Wyoming, where women only earn 64% of what men do. But maybe you just want to talk about Britain, where out of 650 MPs, only 145 are women, where women only earn 15.5% less than men, where last year the pay gap between male and female managers rose from £500 to £10,546. I'll leave all relevant links, as I said, in the below bar so you can see these for yourself. So yes, while things are a lot better than they were, say, 50 years ago, we still have a long way to go in order to be a more just society. And it's for things like this that I still call myself a feminist, because there is still work to be done. You then say they prefer to see men as old women cackling around a cauldron thinking of how they can keep women down. I'm not sure who they are, but grouping all feminists as a single monolithic unmoving entity does not serve your argument well. I think you've spent enough time here on YouTube engaging theists to recognize a fallacy when you see one, and I'm sure you get annoyed with it as well when people apply it to all atheists. You then talk about how feminism has its place, and you're not opposed to fighting for women who have no rights. But what you are opposed to are feminists that are so interested in getting more women into trade and politics, when they should be concerned about little girls in the Middle East who are seen as pretty much nothing but the property of their father or partner. Well, can't they do both? Can't they be concerned with the lack of women in politics, in trades, and how women get treated in other countries? I mean, I gave you all those statistics just a minute ago because there is still a problem of inequality in first world countries. But that doesn't mean that I or anyone else don't care about women being treated harshly elsewhere in the world. Just because things are a lot worse for women in countries like Saudi Arabia doesn't mean that we should stop fighting for equality in our own country. People fight where they can, and there are feminists out there fighting for the rights of women overseas, but they also recognise that the fight is not over in places like the UK and America. If we didn't focus on combating discrimination just on the basis that there are worse things going on, then we wouldn't get anywhere. Then you say that women have more rights than men in certain areas, like custody of children. If a woman wants an abortion, she doesn't have to take her partner's or the father's opinion into her decision. And women have shorter prison sentences. You then ask, if we live in a patriarchy, then why would things like this be allowed to happen? First off, yes, there are professions where women are paid more than men, but that doesn't really balance out the overwhelming number of other professions where they are not. And in fact, a feminist friend of mine, Boundless Eyes, I'll leave a link to her channel in the below bar as well, she's talked before about the unfairness of custody battles. So there are women out there who can see these things objectively. I do have a theory about the question you asked about how things like this would happen if we lived in a patriarchy, or sort of a male oppressive society, but I have to stress that this is just my opinion and I could very well be wrong. I can admit if I'm wrong, so if other people can point out If I am indeed wrong here, then I will issue up an apology either in the comments or in another video. So it seems to me that these things happen because of the patriarchy, or at least the social environment in which we live in. Women are seen as the more caring, the more loving parents, so it only stands to reason that judges would be more inclined to give women custody, as in our society their role has been to bring up the children. So even though this is a situation where women seem to have the upper hand, it's only because of the very narrow definitions we put on men and women in regards to family and rearing children. And perhaps it's the same with prison sentences. People find it hard to believe when a woman is found to have murdered their own child or committed another serious crime. You'll hear comments from friends like, "Oh, I can't believe a woman could even think of doing this." Whereas if this was a man, you wouldn't hear anything of the sort. If it was a man who, you heard killed their child, there would be absolutely no surprise at all. So perhaps this kind of thinking impacts the judges too, where they feel sorry for women, or they feel that women are more prone to mental illness or more prone to their emotions, so they can't be held as responsible as men and so receive shorter sentences. Again, this is just something I thought of today, and it may turn out to be wrong, but there it is. Then you talk about feminism having a split personality, and you can't see why people would support a movement that can't even agree with itself, what it stands for or what it wants. This could apply to pretty much any political or philosophical concept out there. I mean, you still call yourself an atheist, right? Do you agree with the atheists that think that religion should be banned outright and all theists are brain-dead morons? Do you think that religion has its place in shaping our world and you don't really care what someone believes as long as they don't try to force it on you? Do you agree with movement atheism, or is your atheism just not a big deal to you? Can you see how, even though they have the same starting point, people can extrapolate basic beliefs and add other concepts and ideas to them? Are you still going to call yourself an atheist, even though there may be some atheists out there that have opinions that you abhor? I mean, they're just doing what they think is right. They still have a non-belief in God or believe women should get paid and treated the same as men. They just have a different path to achieving that goal. And they can still call themselves atheists or feminists because they still have the same basic principle, even if some of them are so wrong and are complete fucking idiots. As much as we may dislike it, there are going to be people who share the same labels or ideas or beliefs or non-beliefs as us that act like complete moronic numbskulls. Beelzebub! But that's going to be true wherever you are. So finally, I want to say basically the title of this video. Don't let the extremists of a position you hold push you away. But also, don't be afraid to take on someone who holds the same position as you. If a certain person is being an idiot, then call them out on it. Don't let them get away with it just because you have one common similarity with them. And if someone hears that you're a feminist or an atheist and decides to immediately label you with ideas and positions that aren't yours, then set them straight. Tell them different people have different ideas about what it is to be a feminist or an atheist or a theist, and you don't have to justify thoughts and points that aren't your own. If you let the fringe elements of a core idea you believe in co-opt it, then they've won, and don't let them. And that is why I still consider myself a feminist.